Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Teach, Sleep, Repeat. My name is Dylan.
My name's Hayden.
And Hayden, why have you chosen that top?
What do you mean?
I'm just wondering why you're choosing that top. This is a
nice
visual
top.
podcast. It's on YouTube, it's on Spotify and stuff.
Exactly why I
Wondered
chose it.
why you'd go for a top where it looks like you're naked.
What are you talking about? It's green.
Exactly. Blends in with your
I
skin.
don't have green skin. What are you talking? If you are watching this podcast, please confirm that Dylan's being an idiot.
It's quite close. It's just quite close to your natural skin colour.
Dylan, it's literally a green top.
Okay, so it's like murky water top, right? And so it's like neutral. It's a bit towards the green, and then your complexion is like normal but a bit towards the green. So they're just kind of meeting in the middle.
Right.
Just look a little
Welcome
bit
to the podcast, everyone. This is Dylan, who was a minute ago just having a meltdown that he can't start the podcast in any different way, and then gave up trying to do a different one, and then went back to normal.
I really can't. We used to do a supercut of hello everyone, welcome back to the episode of Teach Sleep. I actually wake up saying that sometimes.
Yeah,
it's just like ingrained in my head. But anyway, this is the question and answer episode. First question, what are you wearing? Second question, and all subsequent questions will be from where?
Oh, I knew you were going to do that. From our WhatsApp community, which you should and can join.
We're heading towards 200 of you lovely people in there. So if you want to submit any questions for us to answer, that's the place to be. We'll whack the link in there, along with loads of other things like links to episodes when they're released and all that good stuff. Hayden, every now and then, maybe 1 per 200 messages, we'll put something in there if you want to hear from the man himself, who does nothing for the podcast.
Wow, I like how that's already a running meme in the WhatsApp community. I like that. Someone, a listener was making a joke out of it, and I was like, well, I certainly want to be bloody replying to that.
I love how that person joined the group, right? I think it was Georgia, joined the group and said, hey everyone, how you doing? And my first was, yeah, we're just talking about how Hayden does nothing. And then her reply was, I thought that might come up.
Yeah. And ironically, I didn't reply. So I looked at it and thought, yeah, I'll reply to that later.
And never, ever did. Anyway, Hayden, we're on the road to Hayden becoming expected standard in reading. So I thought today we could have you reading out the questions.
Okay.
And all of the community, join down below, there's a link. We can rate, I think, in the teacher discussion WhatsApp group, we can rate Hayden's reading and maybe give you a bit of feedback.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do that today. Let's have a think. Over to you, Hayden. Let's have a go.
You'd be a really good teacher with that sort of attitude towards learning.
I'm just giving you the chance to shine.
Well, all right, mate.
Let's go with some pointed feedback.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, clearly. Question 1.
Crap.
If your last class could give you a performance review, what would the headline be?
Wow, I wonder what your performance review would be.
10 out of 10. No one reads better than that. I'm the best reader.
That was good intonation there. Good focus on oracy in the new curriculum. Well done. If my class could give me a performance review,
what would the headline be?
The headline would be monkey ape named after man teacher has gherkin on his head. That would be it.
Yeah, deadly serious.
Yeah. Because all I could think of
Mm.
is how every single year, when you've done you're in year 6, obviously, and they always do their memories from school, and they get to year 4 where I spent most of my career. And their memories are, so if the class were giving me something here, their core memories are always never to do with the lessons were inspiring. I learned so much with Mr. Price. I did all this good stuff. Me out my ear out. Come on, guys, tell me how good a teacher I am. They just simply say, I remember the gorilla story and I remember the gherkin story.
Yeah.
And that's that.
What's the gorilla story? It's just the fact that you're hairy.
No, that is true.
Yeah.
And they do see my beardy beard and comment on that. But no, the gorilla story, so quick context, very, very quickly. I told my children 2 stories one year at the start of the year, and for the rest of the year it was just ingrained in their mind.
Yeah.
One was the gherkin story, one was the gorilla story. Gorilla story, very quickly, when my mum was pregnant with me, so back in 1993, obviously she lived up north, that's where we came from, up north, and we went to Cheshire Zoo. I say we, I was in the womb, but I did go, I guess I went. Went to Cheshire Zoo, and there was a new monkey born, and I think it was an ape. It was, them ape, they have like a herd. I don't know what the collective noun for an ape is.
Herd. You said herd. We're going with herd.
I don't think it's a parliament of apes.
Colony?
I don't know. I'm not going to try and pretend to know, all right? Let me just tell my story, which is an anecdote and no one can argue.
Anyway,
this happened.
Go back to the herd of apes. Go back to that bit.
Well, there was a pride of apes in the zoo. And the newborn ape was called Dylan. And my mum didn't know what to call me. She saw Dylan. She's like, that's a nice name. It stuck, and obviously I was called Dylan in the end. So whenever people say, are you named after Dylan Thomas, the Welsh poet, or you're named after Bob Dylan, the iconic musician, I say, nope. I'm named after a big old ape in Chester Zoo, who grew up to be the alpha male ape, the leader of the pack. So the joke I said with the kids at the time was, that ape has done more of its life than I have. Just like it's got to be the leader. I'm not the leader of my country. I'm just a lowly teacher. I didn't obviously say it to
Not even the leader of this podcast. It's crazy, isn't it? You think you are, but
well, I don't know about that anyway. We'll tell you reading later on. But that's where that came from. And then the other story, the Gherkin story, is I was playing cricket once when I was younger. Indoor cricket. I went out to bat. We ended up winning. I got my highest score ever. Got like 80 odd, which in cricket for me at that point indoors was like, wow, this is good for me.
Very nice.
And the coach, before I went out, unbeknownst to me, had put his gherkin from his McDonald's burger on my helmet. I went out the whole time, had the gherkin on, won the game, came back out, and they were all shouting gherkin. And I was like, what are you on about?
Did it stay on?
Yeah, it stayed on the whole
That's
time.
hilarious.
Yeah, on my helmet. So there was people at my cricket club. I must have been like early teens when that happened, and I played cricket until I was an adult. And I think there were people at that cricket club who didn't know my name. Yeah. Who just it's Gherkin.
It's Gherkin.
It's Gherk.
Yeah, it's Gherkin boy.
Yeah.
Gherk. Like the fact they got a short one as well. Like his full name. He's actually called Gherkin, but we just call him Gherk because we're his mates.
Like what? His full name. It's Gherkolomew.
Yeah, Gherkolomew. Oh my god, it's like I had that kid in my class was in year 6 who had you in year 4 previous years and just spent honestly the first week of year 6 just desperately like saying, can I please go down to year 4 and tell Mr. Price's new class the Gherkin story? And I was like, I don't think he wants that.
I remember that child came to me and was like, I was thinking maybe I could come in English time because it's like a story, isn't it? And I could tell the story. And I was like, I don't think your year 6 teacher will allow you to miss some English time.
The fact that was like you said though, they remember that. Yeah. That's the headline. That's you in a performance review.
So my performance review from the children would definitely be based on ridiculous, hilarious stories like that. From the adults, I'm hoping it'll be a bit more to do with my good teaching. How about you?
Yeah, I think from the children, probably something silly as well. Maybe silly teacher somehow makes us learn. Because I think, even we've just
a bit more self-aware when they're older.
It's like, not sure how we learned, but we did for some reason, even though he was silly. I think about the blow dart maths.
Yep.
It's a classic example. I imagine kids at the time were thinking, this is a laugh. This is so silly. They didn't know, did they? They were learning their times tables as they were passing out, pretending to be in the jungle, running away from me, blow darting them because they didn't know their times table.
I think what they probably thought was, I can't believe we're getting away with this. Can't believe we're getting... Normally, I just do like hundreds of times tables questions. I only have to do 3 here and pretend I'm being hit with a tranquilizer dart. And a herd of apes will come and get me.
Man, I really did lose it that year. I know we joked about it at the time, but even on reflection, I'm like, I really did lose my mind.
Was that the year that you had a river?
Yeah, I think it was.
Okay, so I think like if anyone needs to go back and listen to Monday's episode about parenting and teaching, get a bit more of an insight. But I also think that when I had my son in October 23 and you had River in November 23, I do think that for like the next 3 months we were collectively just out of action, like
completely
just completely zonked.
Yeah.
So I reckon that class, funnily enough, probably got the most unhinged version of us, where we were still delivering the curriculum and stuff. But I definitely was just like running on fumes.
I was not sort of in this reality, like really. I was in a weird new version of reality that was in my head.
The maths lead's got the blow dart out again. I don't think that's on the NCETM website.
Yeah. How do you think, out of interest, because you mentioned this a second ago, how do you think, what do you actually think teachers would say about us? You said, the kids performance review. What do you actually think now we're not in the school anymore?
Other teachers?
Yeah, actually they're just
like not SLT, so like...
Just general colleagues, like on average. Just the average, what do you think people would say?
I think it's split, right? And I'd be interested to hear what people listening to this have to say about what people might think about them. I genuinely think it's split 3 ways, which is bizarre, right? So the first group of people are the teaching assistants and people who are literally in my room with me. Yeah. Okay. I think those people
they hate you. Yeah.
they couldn't wait to the back of me. But everyone I've spoken to, and I've seen some of them since, etc., like are really, really, really nice, really positive, and say, you so clearly just really wanted to help, the kids as much as possible. You're such a good teacher, and that's nice to hear. Like anyone likes to hear that. So when they're in my room, then another group are people who literally never worked for me. So like people who just in the school maybe like working in year 3 and I wasn't, or then we moved around and they were in a different year group but never actually worked with me. And I probably think they've got this idea that like, oh yeah, he's probably a decent teacher, cracks on, is a bit funny with the kids, has a laugh with them, maybe doesn't take it seriously all the time, blah blah blah. Yeah. But like, yeah, fine, probably I don't know much about him, but big mouth him when it comes to staff room. Maybe help me every now and then because he said something and it means I didn't have to do that. So that's cool. I'm hoping that's what they think. So just quite neutral really.
Yep.
And then the last group are the other teachers who've worked with me but not been in the classroom with me. And I imagine there's some weird middle ground there. For God's sake, Dylan, just do this thing. Why don't you remember to do this thing?
So stubborn.
This really small thing that I just need you to remember to do, and I genuinely forgotten to do it. Or this really small thing I want you to do, and I've been like, no, don't want to do that. I'm going home. See you later. I was like, Dylan, it would take 10 minutes. No, not doing it.
Principal.
Yeah, principal, I don't care. I'm going to just stand up. And like, there were definitely awkward moments where people who I directly worked with probably resented me in a way, because I would just have these really strong, at the end of my career anyway, really strong boundaries of just like, yeah, well, I'm not doing that though, because I'm not trying to be horrible or awkward or anything like that. I'm not doing it. And by the way, if this means that you have more work, I will help you to find a way to make it not have you. I don't want to give you work just because I'm being selfish. I'm not like that at all. But I equally think that they realized that I got on with the kids really well, and the kids enjoyed being in my class, and they made really good progress. So now my 3 groups of people. A really long way of saying, yeah, good at his job, hopefully, likes getting on with the kids, enjoys being in the room with the children, but quite stubborn.
Oh, that was perfect. What I'll do is I'll cut out all the stuff you just said for the last 5 minutes, and I'll just cut that bit in. Perfect. That's the answer I was looking for. Cheers for that.
I try and give fleshed out, detailed answers. Go on, what's your answer then? 3 words. Go. That's one.
Stubborn.
Stubborn 2.
Done.
Done.
Stubborn and
Right, on to the next one.
There we go. Let's do the next question.
Right, let's see. Wait. Hayden.
Yeah.
Deep breaths. I want you to talk like the person in the back of the room can hear you. So imagine I'm in the back of the assembly hall. Yeah. I want to be able to hear you. Okay. Don't cover your mouth with the iPad. Lower. Off you go.
All right.
Louder.
Okay,
Louder.
What's your teacher?
Louder. Stop. Listen. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. Listen, I know there's 300 people in this room with you, but it's just me and you at the minute. Calm down. Stop talking. Don't say. Shh. Listen. I want you to talk. But I want you to talk as if the person who's at the back, Miss Brown over there at the back of the room, she needs to hear your voice. That could be your mum at the back.
No.
Your mum's not coming. She's got work.
Okay.
And that toxic head teacher won't let her leave for her own child's assembly, but we'll make her stay for someone else's child assembly. Yeah. Sorry, but Miss Brown needs to hear you nice and loud.
Yeah. Okay. What's your teacher's superpower, and what's your teacher kryptonite?
Teacher superpower for me is being able to fly.
Okay. Not made up.
No, being able to fly. Fly across the room, helicoptering. I take helicoptering to a new level. I'm actually helicoptering around the room, flying around, making sure I'm plugging those gaps, helping those kids out. That's my teacher superpower.
That's impressive.
And I think, actually, thinking back, that's probably going to be on my headline for my performance review. Mr. Price flying around the room helicoptering, because that's my superpower.
I reckon that would be something that would stand out.
Yeah, for sure. What's
to
yours?
be honest. Yeah. Annoyingly, I was going to say the same. Abilities. I'm also a helicopter, so that's really gutting that you're the only other one, and we happen to be doing this podcast.
You know those those kids shows with the helicopter where it's got like a big face on the front. It looks like demonic. Yeah. It's like, it's me. I just go snap. I'm just a helicopter going around the room. And actually, that's 8 times 7 is 56. There.
What are we doing?
Just in the kids' ear going. I can't hear you, sir. You're helicoptering above my head.
That's how it works, actually. Yeah.
And my teacher kryptonite is kryptonite.
Yeah, it actually is, because you are also Superman.
Yeah, I am Superman. If you bring kryptonite into the room, I just I freeze. I'm stiff.
Oh, well, I'm glad you've taken this question so seriously. Bringing it back to reality, I think my superpower as a teacher is probably, this might sound a bit corny, probably something along the lines of getting kids to enjoy subjects they didn't like.
Oh, shut up.
I just think I can.
I just inspire the children. It's my superpower. You have just said my superpower is inspiring kids.
No, look, my superpower,
Are
particularly with
you
maths.
walking LinkedIn account? I just love inspiring children. It's my superpower. If there's one thing I could pick that I'm so good at, because my name's Mr. Stevens and I inspire the next generation, I love it. I'm so good at it.
Okay, listen, my superpower is being able to helicopter around a room. All right, shut up. Let's move on.
No, come on.
It's got to be something to do with maths. I feel like maths is my superpower. Teaching maths is my superpower. I think I always ask kids, this is just from my ego, blatantly is, at the beginning of the year, particularly if I've got like a lower ability set or a mixed ability set where I know there's loads of kids in there, I'm like, they just don't like maths. Yeah. I say, who loves maths? Or in fact, I'll say, who doesn't, can't be honest. Who doesn't really like maths? Yeah. And you'll get so many hands up, and I'm like, I'll change it by the end of the year. I always, at the end of the year, ask them who likes maths. And no change. Gutting.
You missed out the part at the start where you ask who doesn't like maths, and no one puts their hand up. And you say, you don't like maths.
No, you don't.
Put your hand up. I need to show data. I need to show progress. My superpower.
Yeah. Don't worry, though. We don't measure this. So it doesn't matter, actually.
I think, to be fair, my superpower is certainly building a rapport with my class, I think, quite quickly.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say is
A
probably
real one, like not just I demand respect.
Yeah, because I know sometimes it can be quite reductive and annoying and really frustrating to hear someone say, why don't you just build a relationship with your class? It doesn't work for everyone. It doesn't solve all the problems.
No.
But I do genuinely think that, give it 3 weeks at the start of September, if you come into my room with my class, I know the kids really well. I really try and understand what they like and what makes them tick and who they are as people, and talk to them individually, learn their names quickly, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't necessarily solve every problem ever, but I love, like, we become a group. We become a team so quickly. And yeah, obviously it's going to sound corny whenever you say anything's your superpower.
A family.
We have family, and a family means Ohana, and Ohana means nobody lets get left behind. And then I put on my Stitch voice and I say, "Hello, cats, want to come and do Stitch with me?"
Crying and they're leaving the room.
There with Stitch bags, like, running out. I thought what Stitch sounds like. Stitch is in a helicopter going around the room. But yeah, I'd say that's my teacher superpower, is just building a team ethos where we all look out for each other very quickly. And I think that is something I would say, if I would compare to other people, that's what I put on my pedestal.
I can think of a kryptonite that I feel like maybe is for both of us as well.
Oh, so you're telling me what I'm bad at? That's great.
Yeah, basically.
I can think of something that you're really bad at, actually.
Yeah, that's my polite way of saying I've got something you're rubbish at. No, I think it's something we've discussed quite a lot in the past. I do feel like we share this.
Is it doing the very basics of the job?
Exactly. Yeah, the kryptonite, turning up, turning up, teaching kids. It's just, I can't do that bit. No, I think it is, and correct me if I'm wrong,
I will.
Is kind of the opposite of what you're saying. It's when you actually have a child or a couple of children in your classroom where their behavior is so unruly that it feels like it goes out of my scope, where I'm like, there's a point where I'm like, because I just have this, like, I just make nice relationships with the kids, and I feel like it doesn't take too much effort. When it actually is a horrible challenge, and I'm like, and I really, really don't like the behavior is extremely challenging. I'm like, everything breaks, and I'm like, I don't know what to do anymore, because they don't actually want, they don't want this relationship that, like you're just saying here. Yeah. They don't want to be part of this ethos, this family of the classroom. Like, what do I do? And I feel like other teachers are way better at behavior management when they've got those like really tricky classes. And if I get those classes, I always feel like, I'm not the best person to be doing this. So
I need help.
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right, to be fair, because, like, as easy as it is for me to say building those bonds, the same things people would say to me is, well, I can't in my class. And I'd be like, yeah, actually, sometimes I think there are times where I really struggle with that as well. And it's frustrating because I don't necessarily think it's always the fault of the teacher. I do think that some teachers, like, build this superpower of being able to deal with things like that and kind of with experience maybe learn stuff. But I think teachers are poorly equipped half the time when it comes to dealing with those kind of behaviors, because stuff has been just stripped out in terms of funding and support. Because usually with extreme behaviors, almost always from my experience, extreme behaviors works in tandem with something else, something going on at home, some kind of support needed, some kind of education health plan that's like on the way, but it maybe isn't even there yet.
Yeah.
And even if an EHCP is there, the funding is so rubbish that often it's literally impossible to fund the needs of that document, which is a document enshrined by law. It's such a bizarre system. I think we need to do an episode on it in the future. How EHCPs are so important for children and really, really, really important for parents to kind of back up and talk about. And we'll speak about this multiple times, but what needs to happen is parents are going to be advocating for their children, really important. But as a teacher, there is only so much I can do. And that's probably my kryptonite in terms of my hands are tied. Like, to me, kryptonite is something you can't control. And it's that. It's like, if I have these unmet needs that I'm not getting funding for, or a child needs a one-to-one, 3 children need a one-to-one in my room, but I've only got enough for one TA. That one TA being a one-to-one doesn't exist when it's a 1-3. We talked about this before. It was crazy. That's my kryptonite. I think when external factors literally tie up my hands as a teacher, I'd love to give as much help and support as I can, and as I should be able to give, but I physically can't. Like, that's frustrating. Ends up pitting parent against teacher, I think.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I think you'll find also that kryptonite actually leaves you on the floor, completely unable to move. So I'm not sure you took it literally enough. So can you
in
actually
that case,
actually think of it?
It's peanuts. I'm allergic to peanuts.
That's your teacher kryptonite.
Yeah. Well, if you're thinking of what's going to have me on the floor, unresponsive, I am allergic to peanuts. So I benefit quite nicely from school's no nut policy.
No nut allergy. Yeah. Love that. This next question really piqued my interest, particularly getting to ask you. So, do you think schools put enough support in place to support teachers who have SEN, such as autism or ADHD?
I've got to say that when you didn't think about reading, when we didn't make it a thing, your reading really improved.
Oh, thank you.
No, sorry, mate. I just want to say, just want to take you to one side and just tell you, I appreciate that. I think that's really, really good. No, I do. And I think maybe what you need to do is just not worry about it so much. Don't put it at the forefront of your mind. And if we just ease reading into just being part of your, almost link it with your oracy out loud and just talking, and then maybe just snap into that reading. We're going to get to expected.
As a grading
by the end of the year. I'm not going to grade you right now because that might ruin all of the building up I've done.
Yeah.
If I slapped an actual grading on
No, fair enough.
Because the grading wouldn't probably be what you want to hear.
No, okay.
But okay.
Get in there.
I find this so interesting for a number of reasons. Like, one is like societal, and another one is like literally within education as a whole. Because I think in society, children, rightfully, often are given much more leeway in terms of they're getting used to the world. They're getting used to their own minds and their own needs, etc. And they're learning, right? So if a child has ASD or ADHD or anything here, autism, it's something that needs to be supported, and the child needs help, and the child will learn and adapt. And then as an adult, I still think it's important to have things in place. But I do think in society it's seen as, well, you're an adult now. So there comes a point with some of these diagnoses where you're like, cool, you have built up a toolkit to survive in this world, and therefore you don't need as much help from external sources. I think that's still true. Talking as someone who literally grew up learning about this whole... I'm always reluctant to say I've got autism because I don't have the official diagnosis and I've not gone through the waiting list, etc. But it's incredibly clear, having worked in the education system and talked to anyone who knows me for 2 seconds, is that I have definitely got autism.
Yeah.
So I can talk about this. Like, growing up, you learn to mask and stuff, and you might get some support and some understanding and some help. I think it's different when you're an adult, but I also think that autism and ADHD, there are such varying degrees of need and how it presents. Like, if I were to say to someone on the street, what does someone with autism look like? What does someone with autism act like? You'd get 5,000 different answers.
Of course.
Right? And that's because it looks different for everyone. And there is no one way that someone with autism looks. There is no one way that someone with ADHD acts. It doesn't work like that. So this is my long way of saying that I think in terms of society as a whole, simply the difference between a child and an adult, I think it's acceptable to understand that the same cohort of people when they are 8 with these needs compared to when they are 32 with these needs, what we need to put in place for them will be different and almost certainly less for those adults, hoping that over time these people have learnt, like I have, to mask and to adapt and to cope with things a bit better. That having been said, I don't think that we go far enough, often enough, for adults with these conditions. I don't think there's that understanding there as well, like we just talked about. I'm really interested to hear what you think. I don't think you're on the spectrum, but you certainly, everyone, there's this thing going around now like, oh, we're all on the spectrum. We all have these traits. I'm like, I kind of understand what you mean, but it really, really, really diminishes like a diagnosis and someone who actually has it. One of the reasons why I'm so reluctant to go around saying I've got this. Because I do not have the certificate that says that. And I always think I don't want to demean anyone who does have it, because I'd say I very much pass as neurotypical in the way I act. I mean, I might not.
You think?
I think I do. But like every single person I spoke to about when I say, oh, I've got this, they're basically like, oh, I know. I know that. And I'm like, for me, it's like a big reveal. But yeah, people who know me. Anyway, I'm interested to hear what you think from that point of view of like definitely from a neurotypical background. Is enough, like, does what I just said make any sense whatsoever? Like, am I just chatting nonsense, or do you think there's a difference between adults and is enough done for them?
I think it makes complete sense in terms of when you're younger, you're still exploring, you're still learning the world. So obviously you need a bit more support to like become a functioning member of society. That's what we're all doing, really, isn't it? We're teaching children how to become functioning members of society. Yeah. And when you've got ADHD or autism or something like that might just make it harder for you, obviously we need to give support. But the idea is, the end goal is that everyone feels comfortable in their own skin and is a functioning part of society. But one bit
say functioning part of society one more time.
Functioning part of society.
But I think it's interesting, very quickly on that functioning thing. It's like that can be loaded as well. I've seen that been like, okay, what do you mean functioning parts? Like, I'm not defined by how society might say I need to be.
Yeah, sure.
And there might be some people, there will be definitely some people with these needs who won't ever get to what everyone sees as that functioning part of society.
Sure.
And that's also okay. And that comes in what you're saying with support. I just want to make that clear. Like, the aim isn't for everyone to become nice little drones who work and do stuff without support. I know what you're saying. No, I just want to
I think that's actually a really good distinction to make, because you're absolutely right. When I say functioning part of society, what I mean is you feel like you can be in the society, literally. It doesn't mean you necessarily you're working and you're one of the cogs in the machine.
Yeah.
It just means you feel like you can be a part of the community. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And there are parts where, absolutely, like this question, going back to it about support for adults in schools who literally have them themselves.
Yeah.
That's part of that, isn't it? It's like, how do I support you to have a life that you want to have in this society?
So my big concern is, and this is where maybe not even necessarily disagree, but like it feels like you're a lot more comfortable with it. You mentioned masking like really casually, and how you're like, yeah, we're just teaching kids to mask. You actually said teaching kids to mask. I'm sure you didn't mean like, let's teach them to hide it.
Yeah.
But basically, like from your perspective, you basically have just learned to mask, and like you said, you can present as neurotypical to people that don't really know you. But I'm like, is that necessarily a good thing though? Is that what this question's down to? Is like, should we be teaching people to mask?
Yeah.
Or should we just be teaching society to be like, this is just who these people are?
Yeah.
It's
tricky because it depends what you mean by masking. Again, I understand anyone listening to this is probably crying out like, no, that some people can't mask and can't help it. I know this is a spectrum, but I'm just talking from experience and about some people. You do, masking is something that can make it harder for someone to assess sometimes. And we always talk about how girls often mask more than boys. And that's why you get maybe more diagnosis of boys younger. And then you get more diagnosis of girls as they get older into teenage years when it comes to these kind of things.
Yeah.
But I do think masking is important. Like personally, I'm quite glad that what I do outside and in my job and as a school teacher, I was grateful that I can mask. I was grateful that I can, like, I've got to the point where I can be like, okay, no, I'm in this different zone now. Yep. I'm this different person. And then I can get home and I can stim. Do you know what I mean? Like, so for anyone out there, stimming is like when you like do something to like just stimulate yourself. It might be like
a movement, shaking
your arms or shaking your hands or like doing a silly sound on repeat and stuff like that. Like, so I'll be stood in the shower. I'm not stood in the shower because I hate the sensation of standing in a shower, as we talked about before. This is true. So I stand like outside of the shower. But if I'm in the shower, because it's so overstimulating for me, like incredibly overstimulating, I will always be like humming like a theme tune. I can feel myself now wanting to stim because I'm talking about it. I feel like humming a theme tune over and over again. Do you know Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah.
I still, to this day, right, the theme tune for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, right? I will do it every single time I step in the shower.
That's so funny.
Every single time. And I want to do it right now, but I'm not going to.
I can't believe that because I remember this step because obviously I'm outside of this podcast. We are actually close friends, so like I've obviously seen you stim, and I remember you doing that after Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I didn't realize you're still doing it.
Still do it in the shower every night, and I stim Mario sounds.
Yeah,
Mario, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and I can just talking about this, I can feel myself building tension in my body that I want to stim physically.
Yeah,
because I'll stim with my hands all the time. I'll like hit my hands together.
Yeah.
Or I'll like the worst one I do is like I hit my head. Yeah. As well. Like I just can't. You can see if you're on it now. You can see my hand like stimming like this.
Yeah.
Because I just want to like release, and it's like 3 seconds. But going off point here. God, there you go. There's another thing I might do. In school, I think absolutely we should be accepting people who stim. Absolutely, we should be accepting people who do that. There are children in my classroom who I've had who stim and have autism diagnoses and need these things, and I'm like, I couldn't be more understanding of them because I get it myself.
Yeah.
And I'm never, ever, 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 just to be really clear, telling them they shouldn't be doing this in class. It's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that just over time, I learned to because I wanted to. Yeah. I wanted to not do that for whatever reason, whether that's good or bad. But I'm not teaching children, oh, you need to hide this because I hid this. Oh, you need to do this because I did this. Not at all. So I get what you're saying. Like, I think what you're saying is a really valid point. And I don't know is the answer. Like, even as someone who does it myself, I know we shouldn't be teaching them to, but I don't necessarily think it's automatically bad that people learn to try and control it when they can.
If we called masking like a coping mechanism or something, like that, or a way to just to, like, I imagine when you're out and about, sometimes it is nice to mask because you just don't want the attention. You don't want completely. To talk about, oh, hello, this is my autism diet. You don't want. Why would you? You don't always want to be talking about it.
Some people won't care. Some people do care.
Yeah.
I personally just like in the middle of like Sainsbury's aisle, if I can control it, not going woohoo like that and just like tapping away, then I will. And I know I'm privileged and happy to be in that situation where I can do that because some people can't. So I want to make this really clear. Answering this question, we've gone on a real tangent here. There is no one blanket answer. That's the point. Like if ADHD was just a thing and autism was just a thing, then we'd all understand it much more clearly. We'd all probably have better training for it. But every single training I've been on for autism, I'm thinking of autism in particular, has been useful, but like to understand it more. But I've never really come out of it thinking I have this strategy now to help with autism, because it's impossible. There is no one strategy to help with these things, because you could. I'd have 6 children in my class with diagnosed ASD at one year. I had 6 children, right? And I tell you now, every single child had a different support like plan that helped them. One might be literally some kind of fidget device to just help them with the stimming. Another one might be the ability to like every now and then go off and let off some steam because they literally have so much pent up, and I'm like, oh God, I can feel that. You just need to go at one point. There might be someone else who is diagnosed but shows absolutely nothing in the lesson, and they don't actually need any extra support whatsoever. It's something that they mask, and they get home, and the parents at home are dealing with the blow off, right? So there's loads of things we can put in place for these children, but there's not just like, oh, here's the autism policy where you do this thing for children with autism. It's really, really hard. And going with adults, I do think that if an adult needs it, they should get it. And it doesn't matter. The whole point I've been saying here about how it changes from being a child to an adult, whatever. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think now, maybe I would have benefited from something, but at being a teacher, I never needed something extra in support in place for me. I think my desire to just call things out when I hear it as just ridiculous is probably a byproduct of it, of like the way I am. But I don't. It was never something that I think needed some kind of policy. No. I think the only thing maybe that might have benefited from is just like people being a bit more understanding of what I'm like, because I really am not trying to be rude. I've got I cripplingly try not to be rude to people, and I overthink stuff massively.
Yes, you
do. Because I know that if I was to just be unfiltered and say stuff without me meaning to be, I would probably hurt someone's feelings. I'd probably be mean to someone, and I know people just say that's just part of being an adult. I know, but I just struggle with that because all I'm thinking is logic. I'm like, well, that's stupid because of that.
Well, that's probably a good example, to be fair, because we've worked in quite an understanding school where, like you said, you didn't really need anything else in place. But if we think about working in schools that are quite toxic, right? You could potentially have got yourself into a lot of trouble just for the fact that you are black and white, and like you are really, really black and white. It's like particularly when it comes to like voicing your opinion on in education, right? And there have been times at our previous school where you said stuff, and it has genuinely come across. Because I've spoke to you after and be like, Dylan, that was just blatantly rude, like the way you said that, and you're like, oh God, I didn't mean to be rude, but like I was just trying to, get everything you just said. But the school's quite understanding. But there's other schools where you could then maybe have got in trouble over that, and someone could argue like, okay, this person's now being unfairly treated because of autism, for example, and it's we're not factoring that in, and like that. So someone could argue and say, yeah, absolutely, we should be putting in things to recognize teachers' neurodivergences and then accounting for it. Yeah,
for sure. I think so. I really struggle with this because it was hilarious. Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, on a comment, I got called ableist for talking about things that we put in place for children with neurodiversity. I was like, you're coming from a neurotypical background. I was like, mate, you don't know me.
Yeah.
How can you say I'm ableist when you're assuming what I am? It's the most ableist thing I've ever heard.
So going back to this question, I feel like we'll move on now, but I don't really know if we answered it, and I don't know if there is a good answer, but the question was, do you think schools put in enough support for teachers who have SEN? And I guess, I don't know. I guess
sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Yeah.
I've had, and I'd love to get your ideas, because the only way we can really answer this question is by putting it out to you guys. So like, let us know if you're a teacher who has these needs, etc. Are they being met? I think it's crazy when a school is so inclusive and has so much stuff in place for the children. We understand how important it is. If adults also have that need still, for whatever reason, it's odd to me that we're not doing that and providing it for them.
We have a one-size-fits-all model for teachers.
Exactly.
But not for the children at all. It's incredibly inclusive, No, I really appreciate you sharing your story, really, because that was obviously very personal. And I know just from our conversations, the fact we've done this podcast for 2.5, 3 years now, that there have been times in the past where you thought, I don't think I'm ready to like share my thoughts on this yet and my feelings.
Yeah,
so
it's not that I'm never not ready. It's that I don't want to undermine people who are going through stuff.
Yeah,
I don't want to be that person that I've seen online myself, and I've thought, oh, shut up.
Yeah, it's just your experience.
Like you've not got this thing. You're just like when everyone's got a bit of autism. No, they don't.
Yeah.
No, they don't. You have a social trait. You have a personality trait. Not everyone has a bit of autism. That's not how it works. And I don't want someone else to think that of me and then discredit what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's why I've always been a bit like, oh, do I say it or not? But I'm at the point now where I'm like, cool, I could spend $3,000 and get my private assessment, and within 2 minutes they'll be like, yeah, you're very autistic.
Yeah.
It's not for me personally. Maybe it would be helpful or not. I don't know, but I'm just like, I'm not going to do that. But I still feel like I need to talk about this kind of stuff. So
yeah. No, thank you. I appreciate it. It was good.
Keep reading.
Yeah. Back to reading jokes, eh?
God, that was a long one.
It was good though. It was interesting.
Go on.
So another question then about behaviour. Do you think, and we have done this before, so you can summarise if you want. Do you think behaviour is getting worse in schools?
I'm going to, maybe we can make this a really quick one and nod people back to our entire episode. It's
Sure.
one of our most listened to episodes. It's with Gronya from Teacher Tap. And the episode title is literally, Is Behaviour Getting Worse in Schools? I think it's in the 90s. So scroll back and have a look. I think the overarching, from the data and what we see is, yeah, it seems to be, because it can be very easy, can't it, to have almost rose-tinted glasses and think everything's always getting worse. Isn't this the most awful year ever yet for X? Or isn't this the worst it's ever been for Y? Most of the time, probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. If you actually look back, like for a lot of stuff, especially with behavior, if I look at my career and I map how difficult behavior was for me, it's quite scattered. And it was more down to the individuals in the class rather than simply just it getting closer to the present time. So, is behavior getting worse in school? I've got to extrapolate from my personal view here and say clearly from the data and from the episode, go back and have a look. It seems like it is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I would agree. I think it's very obvious, even from the anecdotal level, just from my experience. I mean, yeah, behaviour is getting worse. Behaviour is getting worse. Kids don't care as much. I think I know it's really cliche, and you'll hear it. You'll go on TikTok, you'll hear everyone saying about it. Sometimes you go, oh, roll your eyes, like, it's just your experience. But it is, though. Kids behave worse. They don't respect school as much. I mean, I think the culture of parents in school has always been tricky, because I think at the end of the day, everyone goes through school, and if they didn't have a nice time at school, they then potentially become parents who then still hate school and think, oh, I have a negative opinion towards it, and maybe foster the wrong environment at home for their children in terms of how they talk about school and how they talk about their teachers. But yeah, I think in a nutshell, behaviour has got worse. Please do go back and listen to that episode with Gronya, because it was a really good one, because loads of data from Teacher Tap that we actually discussed in it, which was really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
I've got another question that's like very much linked, so
Yeah.
I'm going to jump in with it now. Do you feel children's attention spans in class are getting shorter? Because it's kind of linked to behaviour, isn't it? And if you do, which I imagine maybe you're going to say yes, why do you think it's things like social media and TikTok? And why not?
Like it's got to be, right? It's got to be. I really want to draw a distinction right now, because we're going to talk about attention span, and straight away people say screens. It's the screen generation. They're hooked on screens at home. They have no attention span, bright flashing colors, one thing after another. Maybe as they get older, they're sitting on algorithms on social media, etc. And it's just not allowing for sustained attention on something. The amount children are reading a book for a sustained period of time has dropped off a cliff. The amount they're spending sat in front of a screen has gone through the roof. So I can understand, and I think the answer to this is, are children's attention spans getting shorter? I think absolutely. I think it's just impossible to deny that. I think the evidence shows that that's true. But I want to almost jump to screen time as a thing in general, because I'm really interested to hear what you think, because I get really frustrated when screen time blanket is shown as bad.
Yeah.
Screen time bad in any respect ever. Done. No screen time at all. It's just awful. I couldn't disagree more. And I think a big issue here is we can say attention spans are getting worse because of what happens on a screen in the bad version. It happens to be on a screen.
Yeah.
The algorithm uses a screen when you're on social media scrolling through stuff. Highly engaging YouTube videos that are flashing lights and changing scenes every 2 seconds for young children is on a screen. So bad things can happen on a screen. But I tell you what, amazing things can happen on a screen as well.
Yeah.
We have more inclusivity when we use screens. Children with dyslexia can dictate things onto a screen and have it typed out for them. You can use typing itself. You can be on education platforms that happen to be on a screen, but aren't going to be shortening attention spans.
Yeah.
So the idea of attention spans being shortened because of screen time, to me, is like saying children should never, ever, ever consume any films whatsoever because there are horror films out there which will scare them and scar them, and they shouldn't be watching it whatsoever.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
Horror films are bad.
Horror films.
All films are bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just complete nonsense. In the same way, like some things you do on a screen are awful and should absolutely be addressed, but that doesn't mean all screen time is bad.
Yeah.
And I'm really, I really strongly think that. I don't know what you think. Our attention span's getting worse, and do you think it's because of that even? Do you think it's because of the screen time? Or do you think it's because of maybe lots of things?
I think it is mostly because of social media. Yeah, I really do. And again, it sounds quite cliche, and sometimes the simple answer is the right answer. But I do think it's pretty obviously because we have massive corporations who have spent the last 20 years pumping billions and billions of pounds into marketing and advertising and keeping people's eyes locked onto the screen.
I wish they'd do that for our podcast.
Yeah, I know, right? Through, like you said, through this, they're using the screen as a device, but they're using the app. This is social media. It's YouTube. It's TikTok. It's Shorts. It's Reels. We make Reels, and we know that we don't upload 15-minute Reels every single time because we know how it works. Short Reels hold attention better. We're all part of this game. Yeah. I just think it's absolutely dreadful when there's 7-year-olds involved in the game that they absolutely shouldn't be involved in. It's awful. They shouldn't be on social media.
We're marketing it to adults as well.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Like, there are people out there who are targeting kids for this kind of thing. And yeah, it's just a shame. I think if I think about kids' attention spans, it is an issue in school.
Yeah.
It is an issue because you have to be able to sometimes shush, stop talking, get on with your work.
Yeah, for an extended period of time.
For 15, 20 minutes.
The second part of this question is the bit that interests me. I wanted to establish that we agree, firstly, that attention spans are shortening. I think most people probably will agree with that. The second part of this says, do you think we need to change the way we teach to adapt to this? And I heard this a lot of let's just accept that attention spans are rubbish now.
Yeah.
Like you said there, this teacher might say, well, yeah, you can say shush what you want and get them to do extended time. They're not going to do it though. They can't do it anymore. Their attention spans are too short. So do we change the way we teach to accommodate short attention spans?
Yes. And this is gonna let me be really clear. Whether you say yes or no straight up here, some people will get annoyed, right? So I think we should always be adapting to the needs of our class. That's something that's accepted, I think, by most educators. You must, as a teacher, adapt to the needs of your class. That could be through your planning. That could be through your coverage. I think adapting also counts for how you teach, literally your presence in the room. Mm-hmm. And I also think what task you choose for your children to do. I remember when I was in year 3 and I went down in the junior school, there was my head of year in there who'd been in year 3 in the junior school for a long time. And I'd made some math sheets like I always do, like maybe 8 questions on a sheet, going through some fluency, some varied stuff in there. And then there was some other questions towards the end. But she saw that and she said, quick one. What you should do really, especially lower in the school, is just chop that sheet into 3.
Right.
Just chop it up. Because obviously I'd come from upper school. I'd come from year 5. And I could just give the kids a sheet on the whole. Mm-hmm. Most of them could just get through it. And I might adapt and work with some groups, etc. But she said it is just different down in year 3. Like if you can do short, sharp bits with the children, right, they tend to get through more because they only see 2 questions on the page. Mm-hmm. They sit there, they do their 2 questions. Oh, and that's nice. Great. What we're essentially doing there is shortening the amount of time that I'm saying to the kid, right, just be quiet and get on with the work.
Yeah.
Because what that means is after 2 questions, the child's put their hand up. I might go and give them some instant feedback, take it off, give them the next chunk of the sheet. So that small change of just the exact same lesson, the exact same sheet, but chunked up was in reaction to what the children need to get the most out of them.
Yeah. You're pandering essentially to their attention spans, but literally, not necessarily in this context of this question, you're doing it as a teaching tool.
Precisely. And my point here is teachers have done that since the start of time. And that's always been accepted and always been seen as good practice. Mm. So if we are in a situation where, because of external factors out of our control, that children maybe have shorter attention spans in general and it's going throughout the school now and it's getting harder and harder, why wouldn't we just apply those same techniques we've been doing for children who need it to the wider amount of children in the class? I think we should do that. I think we should just change little things where we can. Do I think we should stop having expectation of prolonged work maybe in silence? No. You should still have the expectation and still do it and still try and teach them and still get better at it and still improve it. We can't just say we're doing nothing. It's not our fault. It's out of our control, whatever, kids. If you can't put up with it, well, I've got 15 kids now who don't get through the task instead of 2 that I traditionally had because it's getting worse. It doesn't matter that Mark Zuckerberg's the reason this is happening. It doesn't matter that they're on Snapchat and they shouldn't be. It doesn't matter they're on Instagram Reels, scrolling away. It's almost beside the point. As a teacher, my job is to get the most out of them. So if I can make small changes, I do think you should do that as a teacher. I also think fundamentally that this is down to parenting a lot of the time. And again, we have no control over that. But what we can do is to try and influence them. We are closer to being able to influence parents than we are being able to influence Meta.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, okay, we can't do that. It's going to happen. Cool. Kids' behavior, kids' attention spans are getting shorter, whatever. But what we can do to a parent is, I had a parent once. I'm going to tell you this story, then I'll throw it back over to you to see what you think about this. A parent who was complaining once about the amount of the use of screens in school. Bear in mind, we use screens sparingly, right? Maybe, honestly, in total, the kids are maybe on an iPad for 20 minutes maximum in a day. Maximum. Yeah. And it's all education stuff. This parent had a problem with that. And we're saying, no, I didn't know. There should be no screens in school. This is ridiculous. My children are only young ones, blah, blah, blah. Should have no screens in school. They let their child watch children's cartoon programs at home.
Right.
And I just remember thinking, like, these aren't equal. You can't say, oh, well, my child's getting an hour of screen time a week at school. This is outrageous. That's ridiculous. Now they're getting 4 hours a week.
Yeah.
So, okay, what's the first thing that should go if we're just saying screen time blanketly? What's the first thing that should go? The educational tool app on their screen at school, which they're doing for 15 minutes a day, which is helping them with their maths, or some brain rot YouTube video about a multicolored duck. What do you think? If you're that worried about screen time, it should be 0. And then the first things you allow for screen time might be reading an ebook. It might not be what you want from the children. You might want them to pick up a paper book, but some children won't. Pick up an ebook. That's good screen time.
Yeah.
They're getting a diagnostic on some work at school and their teacher's going to use that to help with their lesson. That's a great use of screen time. The odd cartoon at home. Great. Enjoy it. It's fun. But when you conflate all of this and you just moan at schools for using screens, blanket, you are not thinking this through. You're not thinking this through whatsoever. And when your child eventually needs a dictation app, maybe because they're struggling with their writing and then maybe they've got dyslexia, are you then going to go to the school? No screens, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Of course you won't.
Yeah, my child needs a laptop. No screens, though.
Exactly.
So, come on.
So, yeah, I don't know what you think about that. Like, I think I've kind of went off on one there again, sorry.
That's right.
But I think that it really just frustrates me because I don't think they're equal. I think attention spans are getting better. Do you think then, because you seemed shocked when I said, yes, we should change. What's your opinion?
I was at first because I think the guttural reaction to people hearing that, I think you explained it really well and it brought me around. So, but it is that we shouldn't be pandering. We shouldn't be pandering to this. But then when you were talking, it was making me think a lot of like questions and you were kind of answering as you went. But one of my questions was, no, it was good because it was making me think. But one of my questions was, yeah, what is our role as a teacher? Is it to fight against shortening attention spans, or is it to teach children the curriculum? And I'm like, well, ultimately, by far, it's to teach children the curriculum. You might argue there's a small space for, like a bit of cultural, social stuff, like screen time and not screen time, sorry, the attention span stuff. But realistically, it's to teach the kids. And if me being stubborn saying, no, I'm not going to change the way I'm teaching because their attention spans have got shorter and then like the progress is like horrendously worse than before, I don't think that holds up. I think someone will be like, okay, could you have just adapted slightly and chunked the tasks up in 3 ways and pandered a bit to that attention span? Like, I know, okay, we can have opinions on it, but ultimately they do just need to learn the curriculum. And if that helped it, then fine. You know, like you said, there's a wider battle we can all be part of with parents and culture and meta, you know, that we can have our say in. But ultimately, as a teacher, like we've got to teach the kids the curriculum. So,
and we can know it's important. Like what I'm not saying here is, so it's futile. What's the point? No, you can still do that. You can still talk about it. Yeah. But where's your sphere of influence? Okay, it's not Jeff Bezos. It's not.
Well, mine is.
Doesn't care. Yours is because you have a kind of society of bald men. But you that isn't your sphere of influence. Your sphere of influence is the parents in your community. Yeah. And I think you can talk about it. You can explain yourself. You can justify stuff, and you can talk about This is happening in our schools, guys. This is happening. What can we do to help? And some parents will be on board and some parents won't. Those parents who aren't on board and don't help their kids, do they come into your class and they've not read at all? Do you just go, tough? Sorry, Johnny, you're not reading at all. No, you don't.
No.
You give them the extra support they need.
Yeah,
you don't complain and say, in a utopia, everyone would be reading at home and no one would be on an algorithm and it would be perfect. It would. Of course it would. But we're not in a utopia. We're in the real world. That's why pupil premium funding exists, because those children need some extra support. That's why if children aren't reading at home, they'll get put with an adult first in my class, because I know whether you think it's fair or equitable or whether you're annoyed at it or not, if there's 2 kids in my class and I've only got time for 1 reader, I'm going to read with a kid who doesn't read at home. And yeah, I can sit here and go, well, you shouldn't. Should you? You shouldn't. You're right. It shouldn't be the case. They're not read at home, but it is the case. And I'm a teacher, so I'm going to get you to read. Same with this kind of thing. It's annoying that attention spans have got shorter. It's really frustrating, but it has. So do you know what? I want to get the most out of my kids. If I can make small changes, I think you should.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for that. I feel like we should finish with one last question, only because it's so beautifully linked, because we've been talking about parenting and parents in general, and this one is actually from a parent. So they said, I'm a parent who listens to your podcast, but in brackets, I know, weird. I'd love you to discuss the top do's and don'ts for interacting with teachers. My son is under SEN support and just started secondary. I'm having to interact with various subject teachers, the form tutor and the Senko. I'm walking the delicate balance of advocating for my son versus not being a pain in the backside. Cheers.
You know what I'm going to say?
I know exactly what you're saying when I fumbled over my word. I was so close.
Advocating is one of our red words.
Yeah, it is one of our red words.
And that's fine. We'll
I've been practicing
it
at home, but...
Yeah. That's fine.
I've spent too much time on TikTok.
Yeah, exactly. So. Your attention span is clearly so low, you couldn't get through 4 sentences.
No, I started thinking about the multicolored duck, to be honest with you.
Right. First of all, thank you so much to this parent for asking such an actually nice, supportive, good question, and about advocating for their child. Okay. I'm going to be really blank and honest here in 2 ways. Number 1, as a parent, if your child has SEND support, you need to advocate for them. You have to be that person. And if you ruffle some feathers or annoy some people, it's a small price to pay for getting what you think your child needs. And I'm talking as someone who worked in the school system for 10 years, who, I'm going to be very honest, sometimes was ruffled by some parents. But you know what? It probably made stuff happen for their kid that might not have happened otherwise. Okay? So that is my first thing that I'll say. My second thing that I'll say on this is now really advocating for the teacher. I promise you at no point did I not want to do stuff. I promise you at no point in my career as a teacher did I see a child with a need that I didn't want to fulfill. I wanted to do that all of the time, but there are so many reasons why it's so hard. Number 1, funding is pathetic. There might be a child who really would benefit from one-to-one support, but there is literally no funding for it and my school cannot provide it. And I cannot give it to you because there are 32 children in the class. Number 2, I have 7 children in the class who have specific SEND or EHCP needs. I would get upset sometimes. I would get frustrated and I would get really annoyed. And I've spoken about it on the podcast before, that I physically could not meet the demands of all of these legally binding documents that these children deserve. That was one of the worst parts for me as a teacher, was when I literally knew I could not do it. And I want parents to know, and I feel like you do from the way you've just worded this question, I appreciate you, but please understand that schools and Senkos and teachers and budgeters, we are doing what we can with our hands tied behind our back. And what we need to do collectively is get together and understand we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
There'll be some parents who push stuff too far and get annoyed at the school for no reason. There'll be some schools who fob off parents and don't do things they probably can do. There are bad actors at play here. But for the 99% of adults who just want to help their kid and teachers who just want to help the kids, we need to get together and honestly, instead of fighting each other, turn around and point up. Because if an EHCP, a legally binding document, says children need these 8 things, that costs £30,000 to fund, and the people at the top are saying, yep, cool, sign that off and here's 10 grand. Where do you think we are getting that £20,000 from? Because what ends up happening is the school becomes the middleman, has to turn around to the parent and say, we can't provide this. And the parent turns around and rightfully says, you have to, it's the law.
Yeah.
Bicker, fight, backwards and forwards. Those people who are more affluent as parents maybe, pay to fight it and go against it and have court battles and win more often than not. Who loses out? Well, firstly, those people, because they shouldn't even spend that money, whether they're more affluent or not. But secondly, the lower income families of SEND children who can't afford to fight it, who don't get what their child needs, and get really, really angry at the school and the system. I get it. I really get it. And I get why the teachers get annoyed as well. It's an absolute joke. I hate it. We have to fund this properly. If there is a legal document that says children need support, there's a reason for that, because they need the support. And if we all agree they need that support, pay for it. We can't just pretend. It winds me up so much. Oh yeah, well just there you go, guys. Isn't this is placating you, parent? I've got it written down now that little Johnny needs this because he does. So I'll write that down for me. Thanks, school. Fund it.
Yeah.
It's outrageous. It winds me up because at the end of the day, the reason it winds me up more than ever is because when teachers and parents and SENCOs are bickering, the government are laughing, who don't fund this properly, and the kids miss out.
Yeah.
The kids miss out, and that's what winds me up about the system so much. The kids aren't getting what they need. Winds me up.
I can tell.
Sorry.
I can tell. I hope you enjoyed this episode so far, guys. It's very much, we said before, Dylan was like, you can ask all the questions today. Turns out me asking the questions mean I don't talk at all at any point.
So sorry.
I'm joking. It's been really interesting.
You're not joking, because I reckon it's more than 85% split here. Okay, I'm going to go back to asking the questions.
Yeah, I was like, well, yeah, next week maybe. But finishing off then, just bringing this back to like a smaller, like quick answer now. Because I think it was you going off on that was a valid point, and I think it's important you said it. But the do's and don'ts, I think, for a parent. Just thinking about what
the question,
the do's and don'ts. I'm just going to kind of use your points though. To be fair, so like do assume that teachers actually have the best intentions, because you know what Dylan said, my 99%. It really is 99%, because I've honestly never met a teacher who didn't actually have the best intentions for every single kid in their class. And I feel like I'm always hearing stories that from parents' perspectives that teachers don't care. And I'm like, well, do you know what? I've not actually ever seen that. So don't. Here's a classic one. Don't get involved, if you can, in those WhatsApp groups where parents then just spend the entire time writing about all the things they absolutely hate about the class teacher and the school, and everyone just gets into like a pit of, we're just like spitefulness and we hate this. And I've seen it too many times where parents get sucked in. And then they'll come in and say to the teacher, I'm in this WhatsApp group and everyone's saying this. Is it true? And the teacher's like heartbroken that the people even think this. And it just wouldn't have happened if people didn't just rile each other up in a group. Just, WhatsApp groups are just bad. Like I say to the kids, like,
join our WhatsApp community.
Down in the our WhatsApp community is great. But WhatsApp groups for kids and parents at schools can sometimes just be a bit of a nightmare. I'm sure there's some lovely ones as well. But ones
cover yourself there.
Yeah.
I think the ones that are called Teacher Repeat Podcast community.
That there can be nothing but good. But ones that are just designed to slag off teachers, I'm like, they're probably not going to be coming from the right place. Like maybe just trying not to be involved in that discourse.
Yeah.
But I can already tell from this person, you're clearly already like ridiculously polite, because the fact that you've even written this question in means you're obviously going to be thinking about everybody else. So I wouldn't worry.
She mentioned about like having to liaise with like 4 different people. That is frustrating. Like the SENCO, the assistant head, maybe the school teacher. Just try and arrange. Sometimes schools often arrange meetings like this, especially if a child does have these needs.
Yeah.
Hopefully, just an open dialogue, and keep at them, because we do have a lot on our plate, and it's not an excuse. It's not a thing to say that, sorry, we had a lot on our plate, so I couldn't provide you with what your kid needs. That's not a good enough excuse. What it is, though, is a reason why something might, in your head, what's the top of your list is your kid and your priority, your world. I've got 32 worlds in my class. I've got 32 of them, genuinely. And imagine that multiplied by 32. It's so hard to manage. So a bit of understanding.
And we're human. Teachers are human. I think people forget that sometimes. Don't assume that we're not human.
Are you not human? Because you look quite green.
Well, we seem to have established that my skin color is the same as my green t-shirt in this podcast. But yeah, we're human and people make mistakes. I've made mistakes before. I can think of a couple of times where I think, do you know what? I just absolutely made the wrong decision in that time. And the parent might have got a bit annoyed about it. But yeah, it's like, okay, I can accept that, and you can apologize, teach, but we're just human beings.
You can apologize.
I've apologized once in my life, and it was that one time.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Don't apologize to me.
I'll never do it again. It was.
Well, I'm going to apologize to you for monopolizing that talk.
Wow.
There you go.
You heard it here.
Yeah, I'm not sorry.
He's taking that back. Yeah. But I've really enjoyed that episode. Let us know what you think about me being the host.
You said that like you're a listener.
Because do you know why, Dylan? Because I was.
Oh,
I did.
God.
I feel like you got. I feel like you went as deep as you've ever been into your own life,
potentially
and experiences and stuff.
There's more to come.
Yeah, clearly.
This is like a therapy session. Maybe you should become a therapist.
I think I should. Yeah. I think I did a pretty good job.
Brilliant. Anything to say before we finish?
But don't throw it back on me. I'm the host today. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed listening, guys. Don't forget to what's the things you normally say?
No, I'm not going to tell you.
Follow us on Snapchat. Is that how we do it normally?
Oh my God, Jesus!
Yeah, no.
Honestly,
follow us on Instagram. Join our WhatsApp community. You can get priority access to the questions and answers, as you hopefully have seen. I beautifully read them out today to Dylan, which is flipping the script a little bit. Dylan, anything to finish up on?
Yeah. Don't look a full moon in the face.
Brilliant. See ya.